Okay, everybody, welcome back. This is Michael again with Prep a Pizza. Now, I want to discuss with you how to make a Poolish. What a Poolish is a pre-fermented dough that is going to help your dough at the end result get a lot of flavor when you're making your pizza. So realistically, the cooking method doesn't matter as much as what you put inside of it in the beginning and how you make your dough. Sometimes you could make a direct dough where you just throw everything into the bowl, but this one is a Poolish where we're going to make a pre-ferment that we're going to use later to actually incorporate into our bowl and make things better. So now what we're going to do is just discuss the things. We have our bag that's labeled P, that's for Poolish. We've properly measured out the amount of flour you're going to need to make the Poolish, so there's nothing else you need to do as far as measuring this. You also get a packet of yeast as well as honey. Honey's gonna help activate the yeast a little bit more, add a little color to your flour on the end result, and also give it kind of some extra sugars to eat, which is gonna make more fermentation for you, which is what you want. You'll also need a measuring cup, and you're gonna need 1 cup of water. You could get a measuring cup like this. If you have one of those flat handle measuring cups as well, that works, but you just wanna measure out a cup of water, and you also want a mixing bowl. Now, this one's a little bit oversized. You can get a smaller one, but you want to make sure that your mixing bowl is big enough for the dough to rise. So for example, if you use a little tiny bowl, there's a chance that your dough could rise and actually overflow over the bowl. So make sure you get something deep enough that's going to help have a little bit of movement and space for this. So now the first step that we're going to do is we're actually going to mix the water, honey, and yeast all in the bowl. So you simply just pour your water in. And so now you'll cut the yeast packet open. You can try and rip it. They're a little bit difficult to rip, but you can try that if you want. And you're gonna dump all of the yeast into the bowl. The next step that you're going to do is you're gonna dump the honey packet into the bowl as well. And try and get all of it in there just to make sure that you have everything that you need in there. And then the last thing is the actual Poolish bag, which you can just simply cut up the top of that. And then we'll add that in there as well. And then just with a spoon, you're just gonna wanna incorporate everything together. So you just take your yeast, your water, your honey, and also your flour for the Poolish. Now we're using a Tipo 00 flour, which is perfectly made for pizza. In fact, the Versa Pizza Association, this is a type of flour that they use when making pizza, as far as for the National Neapolitan Pizza Competition. So you're getting a good quality flour. Now what you want to do is you want to mix all of this together to incorporate everything that you have in here, okay? Now, once you have it all kind of incorporated together, what we're going to do next is we'll just clear off our spoon, trying to make sure we keep all of the ingredients in here. And once we have everything in here, we're going to simply just cover this bowl up. You can do 2 different things here. If you have an already plastic top for your bowl, you can just cover up the bowl with the plastic top. You can use cellophane wrap, whatever you want to use to cover the bowl, but you want to make sure that you try and keep a tight seal on the bowl so no new air gets in. Even though this is going to have some space for air in it, it's okay, but you don't want to have it dry up over time. So we're just going to cover it with plastic wrap. And then you kind of have a choice to make. When starting this out, you could make this pre-ferment early in the morning. If you wanted to wait 4 hours, you could then use that pre-ferment for your dough, which is the next step. Now, what we're going to do here is we're actually going to leave this on the counter for an hour, and then we're going to set it up overnight. We're going to put it in the fridge overnight, let it cold ferment for a good 24 hours. Then we're going to come back and we're going to utilize this Poolish in the next step, which is forming the actual dough. If you're deciding that you want pizza today, then the first thing that you're going to want to do is try and start this earlier in the morning, so that way you have the time for this to set up and ferment. If you're going to do that 4-hour period, you just leave it on the counter the entire time, and everything you're going to do from that point forward is going to be all at room temperature. We're going to leave this on the counter for an hour, and then we will put it in the fridge.